Hey guys, Tyler here, and thank you for checking out this video. And it's hard to believe another expansion is upon us. Well, at least the pre-patch for one. So today I have an updated Marksman Hunter guide for you guys for the pre-patch for the War Within, otherwise known as patch 11.0. In this video, I'll have a ton of really great information for you guys, and it's going to be for all skill levels. So whether you are rolling a Marksman Hunter for the first time, trying an alt, or you're a seasoned veteran, I've got some great information for you. We'll talk about things that have changed here in the War Within pre-patch, as well as looking at single target and AoE or Mythic Plus builds. We'll look at openers and rotations for both, and then I'll look at how your stat priority changed, and then some of those items that are still going to be with us from Dragonflight. Your tier set bonus, for example, from Season 4, any of those really potent bullion items, which I'll have more information on that as well, and so much more. And then do keep in mind, I can't update this video once it does go live, so there will be timestamps down for each section down in the description, and any changes will be found down in the pinned comment and also the description, hopefully near the top. But I've talked too much already. Let's go ahead and check out my favorite spec and class in the game, Marksman Hunter. Let's get started.
Mr. Eggplant presents.
So I really quick just wanted to say thank you guys for checking out my content for another expansion. If the last several expansions are any indicators, we're going to have an amazing expansion here in the War Within, and I cannot wait to share my experiences with you guys. Be sure and always leave feedback down below for these videos. I always appreciate it when you guys do, and I will be live with my guild Drexit once we start raiding, once the War Within officially launches, at least raiding sometime in September. So this first section here is going to be what has changed, and I said that exact same thing in Season 4, and it was honestly not a lot then, but it is now. So this first full section is going to be what has changed, and so you'll see it here up on the screen in just a second. What has been removed, and we had quite a few abilities that have been straight up removed. A lot of these were passives, but there were a couple that were some actives, like Death Chakram. So this will be the last time I say it, but RIP Death Chakram, I'm going to miss you. But those abilities that were changed or were removed were Death Chakram, for example. We had Steel Trap that was removed. I'm fine with that, though. We had Sentinel Owl, which was honestly not used a lot, and its two augmenting abilities were also removed from the general Hunter tree. We had Serrated Shots that was removed, as well as Arctic Bola. Stampede was removed. That feels kind of bad because that was a fun button to hit if you are a Beast Mastery Hunter. May have not done all the damage, but it was a fun button to hit. As well as Serpent Sting being an active ability, it's now passive, only on your Serpent Stalker's Trickery, and then Spread if you are using your Hydra's Bite. And then finally, Poison Injection and Nature's Endurance was also removed. There were some other things that were retooled and changed, but those were just going to be the highlight abilities that were removed from both the general tree and then the Marksman Hunter side of the tree. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other changes that will be a little bit more impactful to our rotation and day-to-day build. So we just saw some of the abilities they removed. Well, what else has changed here for our Marksman Hunter in 11.0? There are other things that changed outside of these. These are just going to be the highlights, and then we're going to try to go in rapid fire succession because there's quite a few of them. So Lone Wolf now increases your damage without a pet by 5%, and that was lowered from 10%. Barrage is now useful again, and it is over in the Marksman Hunter tree, but it's only useful, of course, if you augment it with Rapid Fire Barrage, which now makes it shoot rapid fires, and that increases the cooldown to 1 minute. Precise Shots now always makes your next two Arcane, Chimera, or Multi-Shot do 70% more damage and cost 50% less. It used to be 1 or 2, which is a nice change. And then other changes include Wailing Arrow. So now it's a passive and it replaces Aim Shot every time you generate 20 Wind Arrows, which can be tracked with a WeakAura. Legacy of the Windrunners was redesigned once again, and now it gives you 2 wind arrows every time you use an aim shot, and then every individual rapid fire shot has a 5% chance to give you a wind arrow, and of course your wind arrow damage was increased by 300%. And then finally, your readiness allows you to have your True Shot give you a Wailing Arrow automatically as soon as you pop the True Shot cooldown, and then aim shots used during that True Shot window will give you 2 additional wind arrows, and then of course every time you use Wailing Arrow it resets the cooldown of rapid fire and automatically gives you 2 charges of aim shot. From here, we have some other abilities that are passives in our tree, and one of the best ones, in my opinion, is going to be Penetrating Shots. And Penetrating Shots gives you critical strike bonus damage equal to 40% of your crit strike chance. So honestly, even when you hit diminished returns, you're still receiving some really good value from Penetrating Shots. Small Game Hunter is new and is one of the abilities in the tree, and it increases the damage of your multi-shot by 75% and your explosive shot by 25%. And you need to pick this ability to unlock Salvo, so it's super easy to pick up. And then this is an ability you may not use all the time, but it's also in the tree down near Salvo and Small Game Hunter. So Kill Zone increases all damage done by you to the target by 8% as long as that target is standing in your volley, which you're going to be producing quite a few volleys right now thanks to our Season 4 of Dragonflight tier set bonus. And then we have a bunch of other abilities that are getting some much needed help, and those abilities are both utility and also defensives. So Survival of the Fittest is now a baseline 30% damage reduction. It used to be 20%, and then you could make it 40 if you spent a point in your talent tree, but I think this is a much nicer change. So it's a 30% base, and then it does have 2 charges now thanks to padded armor. And then you have Territorial Instincts, and this now allows Intimidation to be used without a pet. So how it works is it summons one from your stable, and then but you don't lose your Lone Wolf damage 5% boost while the pet is stunning, and then the pet basically runs away and does the job that it needs to. This was a huge ask for me in both the beta for Dragonflight and then also the beta for the War Within, and I'm so glad we're seeing it. Great utility change there. And then speaking of utility, you have Implosive Trap, which is brand new as of the last couple of weeks. It's now a knock-up. It's a choice node with high explosive trap, and it's a 1-minute cooldown. So TLDR, we have a knock-up, we have a knockback, we have a snare, we have a slow, we have a stun. We have so many options, and those are all super easy to get in the general hunter tree. And the last couple of changes here are to Eagle Talon's True Focus, which it now increases the duration of your true shot by 3 seconds. And while you use your precise shots during true shot, it will shoot it again at 30% effectiveness, basically allowing you to use both of your precise shot procs. And they're getting ready for our tier set bonus in the War Within for Season 1. But let me tell you, that tier set still needs a ton of work, and I really hope it gets reworked before we get to the first season of this next expansion. And then finally, calling the shots isn't changing, but we can finally pick it. We haven't been able to pick it since all the way back in BFA. It's not as potent as it used to be back in BFA, but every 50 focus you spend lowers the cooldown remaining of True Shot by 2.5 seconds. If you really go full stop and try to min-max this, you can almost get 1-minute true shots. It is huge. And then finally, many abilities that were in our trees that used to cost 2 points in Dragonflight are now only 1 point, which is a huge win. I'd still like to see some more tweaks to our trees, but all in all, I think we're in a really good spot right now. And now let's go ahead and take a look at our tier set bonus. And this is going to be the same tier set that we were running in Season 4 of Dragonflight. So you guys are going to be very familiar with this playstyle. And I know that a lot of people have been asking for this to come back as a talent in the War Within. We have some time, but I don't know if a talent, or I should say a tier bonus this strong, would make it as a talent. But the 2 set bonus would look something like this. So Rapid Fire just deals 20% additional damage, and then every time you use Rapid Fire while you have trick shots up, it causes Rapid Fire to launch a volley for 6 seconds, which is a full duration of a volley, dealing 100% of normal damage. That's not a ton of damage, but having trick shots up the entire time you have volley is. And so that way, if you time it right, you always use your volley before you go into a true shot window, you'll always have volley up for the entire time you have true shot up, which is just sick in AoE. That's where you see all of the damage for a marksman hunter, because you can literally go volley, then you can go true shot, rapid fire, aim shot, rapid fire, aim shot, rapid fire, and so on and so forth, and extend volley the entire time. And then your 4 set looks something like this. Every 10 focus you spend has a 3% chance to reset the cooldown of rapid fire and cause your next rapid fire to basically be double tapped and shoot 100% additional additional shots during the channel. That's one of the main reasons you want to have Fan the Hammer at all times. It's one of the new talents in our tree. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But basically, TLDR is every time that you are shooting an aim shot, you have over a 9% chance, it's what, like 10.5% technically, chance to get a rapid fire that's going to be double tapped, and you're going to see some huge damage increases thanks to this tier set. So let's go ahead and check out the next section of this video where we'll look at the stat priority, and then I'll take a look at our single target and AoE talents. And now let's go ahead and take a look at our stat priority. It should pop up somewhere over my head on the screen. So it hasn't changed since Season 4 of Dragonflight, so it's going to be Weapon DPS is king. It's the best way to increase your damage on your Marksman Hunter. Then your main stat, which is going to be Agility, and then to hit diminished returns for both crit and haste. And if you guys want to know what that is, just download the add-on True Stat Values, which it should show up here as like a little extra bar underneath each one of your secondaries. And it shows you how much penalty you're in and then how much stat you're losing. It's really, really great, super lightweight, and it's super easy to read and understand, so I would highly suggest checking that out. And then after that would go Mastery and Versatility. But keep in mind, if you're having troubles staying alive in the content that you're doing, having more versatility will never be a bad thing, and then maybe you switch Versatility and Mastery in that priority. But you just want to try to make sure you're not into diminished returns too much. As you saw there, my haste was a little bit crazy. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the single target talent build. And this will be the build that you will see later on with my opener. So let's go ahead and bring that up here, and let me go ahead and get rid of the webcam here really fast. And let's take a look at this talent build, which I had actually started and stopped a couple times. So let's reset that right side of the tree. Perfect. So let's look at the left side first. There's a ton of flexibility. So obviously you probably don't need your bursting shot on a single target boss, or you probably don't need a Trailblazer, you don't need Implosive Trap. But there's just some really great flexibility. Like if maybe you need to pick up Trank for some ad that pops up on a single target boss, you know, that sort of thing. Totally fine. And there's just a ton of flexibility. If they did anything right in the alpha and beta, they knocked it out of the park when it comes to the left side or the general hunter tree. Now if they'll just allow us to have a lust without a pet, or without a certain pet family, that would be ideal. But I guess I can dream, you know, maybe dream a little too big. But if there was any other abilities I would move around in here, like maybe you don't need emergency salve if there's no disease or poison effects during the encounter. Then you could move that point over here if you wanted to. But this is going to be the build that you're going to see in the talent string that I'm going to show in the single target opener here in just a few minutes. So for the sake of the video, let's go ahead and move Trailblazer over here and put Implosive Trap. That way we have a pretty good cookie cutter hunter build for the left side of the tree. And now let's look at the right side. And whenever I build these builds, it's always trying to get down to my certain abilities, which in this case is going to be Readiness and Unerring Vision, and then I spend the rest of the points as I see fit. And this might be where I differ for some other videos, and then also from just other guides in general. But there'll be some flex picks that we'll talk about here as we go through the tree. So you'll put your points in aim shot, and then rapid fire and precise shots, then surging shots, streamline, and penetrating shots, and then you'll put a point in improved steady shot here and master marksman, and it unlocks the middle part of the tree. From there we're going to go lock and load, then tactical reload, serpent stalker's trickery, and volley, just because we're still using that season 4 tier set from Dragonflight. Volley is a must to get the most out of that. And then you're going to pick up bullseye and lone wolf. And now let's finish off the left side of the tree. So you're going to put a point in careful aim, then fan the hammer, then death blow, and then killer accuracy. And I have 2 more points left to spend. I'm going to put a point in Night Hunter, but that could be one of those flex picks, as well as in the rhythm. So I'm going to go ahead and pick in the rhythm here, and that's going to unlock the bottom part of my tree. I'm going to put a point in Razor Fragments, and then Legacy of the Windrunners, Wailing Arrow, and Readiness. And I have 5 points left to spend, so those 5 points are going to go True Shot, Eagle Talons, True Focus, Calling the Shots, which is so nice to be able to have this in my build, and then Unerring Vision, since these used to share a node. And they have 1 point left to spend. So points in this tree, for example, like Night Hunter and In the Rhythm, are both flex picks, as well as Crack Shot, as well as Steady Focus. But you guys know me, I hate Steady Focus. I hate it. We have plenty of haste, although this 8% haste would not hit diminished return, so do keep that in mind. I am not going to run with Steady Focus. You couldn't pay me enough to run with it. So I'm going to put my points back here in the Rhythm and Night Hunter, and I'm going to put a point in Kill Zone. So Kill Zone increases the damage you're doing to a target as long as they're in your volley by 8%. Keep in mind, we're going to have volley up significantly more currently here in the pre-patch because of the Season 4 tier set. And I did already test this. Kill Zone does get refreshed when you refresh your volley with the tier set bonus. If I was going to move any other abilities in the tree, I would love to remove Night Hunter, but I can't because it's connecting to In the Rhythm. So the other point I would have to move would be In the Rhythm to maybe come up here to Crack Shot. But honestly, I'm not going to be casting Arcane Shot outside of my Precise Shot procs anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here with In the Rhythm. This is a very, very solid build, and this is the build that you're going to see here in just a few minutes with my opener. But let's go ahead and take a look at the AoE build now. So this is going to be my single target build. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the AoE build. I'm not actually going to change anything over here on the left side. It's going to be pretty standard for a Mythic Plus or an AoE encounter. But over here on the right side, we're going to go ahead and remove a few of these points here. I'm going to go ahead and remove these just for now. Don't worry, they'll come back. What the heck? Let's just do that. There we go. So you put your point in aim shot, and then we're going to come right down the middle right away. So multi-shot into trick shots, and then we have to spend some more points. So let's go ahead and do rapid fire, streamline, surging shots, and penetrating shots, and then precise shots. There we're going to open up the rest of the tree here. So we're going to pick 1 point in fan the hammer, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my point in light ammo or heavy ammo, only if you're going to actually get value. If your group is not going to pull big, then it's not worth putting a point in light ammo. But I'm going to go ahead and put a point there now for the sake of my video, because I know the groups I will be running with will be pulling big. And then I'm going to put my point in Bullet Storm, and then Tactical Reload, and then finally Lone Wolf and Bullseye. I have to spend 6 more points, and I've got plenty of room to do that. So I'm going to put my point in Improved Steady Shot, and then Master Marksman, and then I'm going to do Lock and Load, and then Serpent Stalker's Trickery, and Volley. And that's got me my volley that I need for salvo later on, and then also to, of course, proc my tier bonus that I have for Season 4. And from here, I'm going to go ahead and put my point in Careful Aim, and then that's going to unlock the bottom part of my tree. So I'm going to do True Shot, and then Eagle Talons True Focus, Unerring Vision, Calling the Shots, and then 2 points in Focused Aim. I don't really like that that's 2 points. I don't really think it's worth it, but whatever. And then 1 point in Small Game Hunter, and 1 point in Salvo. This gives me 2 more points to spend. If you are someone who wants to try out the new big Omega button that is Rapid Fire Barrage, there's where your 2 points go, and you're done. That's a really, really great build. I am going to forego putting my points there for now, and I'm going to put 1 point in Kill Zone, because again, you can still get so much value from that since you're putting out so many volleys thanks to our tier set. And then I have 1 more point left to spend, and this is a point that you could kind of move throughout the tree. If you want to put this point in Hydra's Bite, you could put it there. If you want to put your point in Night Hunter, you could put it there. You could even put your point in Death Blow, but I probably wouldn't. And if you ended up not putting light ammo, for example, if you didn't put that, you can still pick Rapid Fire Barrage if you wanted to. It's still a very, very strong build, and for the sake of this video, I'm going to put my point there in light ammo, and then I'm going to go ahead and follow it up with a Night Hunter, but you could easily put it in Hydra's Bite as well. So now this is going to be a very solid single target and AoE build. Let's go ahead and check out the next section of my video. And now let's go ahead and take a look at a single target opener, and it should appear somewhere above my head on the screen. So it looks something like this. And first off, you do want to make sure and put Hunter's Mark on the target pre-pull, whether you have 1 hunter or 10 hunters, as long as someone does it, that way your group's getting value from that cooldown. But then you're going to go ahead and pre-cast your first aim shot with about 2 to 2.5 seconds left on your pull timer, depending on your haste. And then you're going to go rapid fire, then explosive shot, then you're going to drop your volley, and that's where your damage is is really going to skyrocket thanks to our tier bonus. Then you're going to go True Shot macro, and that True Shot macro will have like your maybe an on-use potion, an on-use trinket, your racial ability, that sort of thing in that macro. And then you're going to use Wailing Arrow, since your readiness will give you Wailing Arrow because you just used a True Shot. And then you're going to go Rapid Fire, and then aim shot, and you're basically going to spam aim shot until your Rapid Fire comes off of cooldown, and then you're going to use Rapid Fire, and then you're going to just go back to aim shot until you're out of your True Shot window. And if you do end up getting a Death Blow proc, you actually want to hold that now and don't use it until after your True Shot window. So let's go ahead and see what this opener would look like. All right, so there we go. I used my kill shot right afterwards. I think we got up to like, 700, maybe closer to 800k DPS. It's going to go down a little bit now that the dots are ticking on there. Keep in mind, you did see at one point that my Rapid Fire got clipped. Hey, so it's Tyler from the future. So the known issue is actually with kill zone. So it has a weird reaction with the bonus volleys you get from your tier set bonus. So whenever you're extending that volley and you get your buff of kill zone, it's stopping the cast of your rapid fires when you get that. It's a known issue that they're currently working on. I'm still going to champion kill zone here on my channel because it's doing some really crazy damage. But for now, go ahead and move that point elsewhere, and then it should get fixed in the coming days. So let's go ahead and take a look at the single target rotation priority. And the Hunter's Mark isn't a huge deal, but you might as well just make sure someone is putting it on the target pre-pull. Rapid Fire is the most important ability currently thanks to our tier bonus in our kit outside of True Shot. So just make sure if you have Trick Shots up, you use Rapid Fire. That way you will start being able to cleave, even if it is a single target boss, because you'll just get that volley damage. And then use Volley on cooldown. Kill Shot on cooldown as long as you're not using it during a True Shot window. Kill Shot does kind of move just a little bit lower in the priority thanks to our tier bonus. And then Explosive Shot, just use that on cooldown. We didn't normally have that in single target. We do now, so we just make sure and use that as much as we can. And then use your True Shot on cooldown. You can delay it just a little bit so you can get into those burst windows like your Bullseye zone, for example, when you are executing, getting all that bonus crit chance, crit damage. And then just make sure that your aim shots are not capping out on charges. Use your arcane shots to dump your precise shot procs whenever you're not in your True Shot windows. You want to try to use all of those precise shot procs. You'll get 2 every time you use an aim shot now. And then finally, go ahead and just use your steady shot as needed for focus regeneration. But keep in mind, if you are one of those people that are using steady focus, that does mean you need to be using your steady shots in pairs. That way you get that bonus 8% haste. And just like with single target, let's go ahead and take a look at our AoE opener. And I will say this, currently Rapid Fire is bugged. For whatever reason, I think it's auto shot. Hey, so it's once again Tyler from the future. And so unlike what I just said, it's actually kill zone and how it reacts with our tier set bonus from Dragonflight that is the issue. So whenever you're extending your volley and you're getting that kill zone buff, if you are casting, or I should say if you are channeling your rapid fire, it's stopping the channel. It's a known issue. There's a blue post on it that it should get fixed in the coming days. I'm still going to champion it here on my channel, but forget about whatever I'm saying here, and let's go ahead and check out the opener, the AoE opener rotation. So having it fall short and stop halfway through is super frustrating. But all right, so the opener should pop up here on top of the screen. So you're gonna obviously put Hunter's Mark on the target if you can, as you're like running up to the target in like your Mythic Plus dungeon. And then you're gonna use your Explosive Shot, then Volley plus Salvo macro together, then your True Shot macro, and then you're gonna go Rapid Fire, Aim Shot, Rapid Fire, Aim Shot, Aim Shot. Basically, if Rapid Fire is off of cooldown, you wanna use it. And then follow it up with just aim shots until Rapid Fire comes back up. And then if you happen to get a death blow proc, you actually don't want to use it if you are running with death blow. You don't want to use it until you're out of your true shot window. So let's go ahead and see what kind of damage we can do here. All right, so there we go. So I went a little bit longer than just the true shot, but we ended up doing like 2.6 mil, and that's with rapid fire being broken currently. So we're seeing some really, really great damage. And keep in mind, I am using kill zone in both of my builds, so we're doing 8% more damage. And this one did get skewed just a little bit since I was going to be in bullseye range, but we're still doing, you know, about 2.2 to 2.4 million DPS on a 5-target cleave. So that's some really, really good damage right now here in the pre-patch. And now that we've seen the AoE Opener, let's go ahead and take a look at its rotation priority. And so keep in mind, above all else, if you do not have trick shots before you're wanting to cast an aim shot or rapid fire, use multi-shot first, or get trick shots with volley. Just make sure you always have trick shots up so you can cleave. Rapid fire on cooldown, much like with single target, because it's so strong, particularly if you have trick shots up. That way you get that tier effect rolling and you can do so much damage, particularly if you're like myself and running with kill zone. And just make sure you're using your volley and salvo on cooldown. You might delay it just a little bit if you know you can hit more targets with those 2 explosive shots. Just use your explosive shot on cooldown, and same way with the volley salvo. Maybe you delay it just a little bit if you know you can hit more targets. Then just use your true shot on cooldown, and you can delay for a burn phase. Bullseye, just like with single target, comes to mind, where you can just do so much more damage, or delay it on that single target boss in your Mythic Plus, for example. And then just use your aim shot on cooldown, make sure you have trick shots up, and don't let your aim shots cap out on charges, just like with single target. Kill shot is much, much lower in the priority because we won't have razor fragments, for example, so just use your kill shot on cooldown when you're not able to do some crazy amounts of cleave with your trick shots. And then multi-shot is needed to dump your precise shots or get your trick shots. That's very, very important. And then steady shot as needed for focus regeneration. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the consumables and enchants, and these have not changed at all from Dragonflight. So for your flask or your phial, you're going to use the iced phial of Corrupting Rage, or you're going to use tepid versatility. Anymore, we can already get to crit cap very, very easily, so I've been using tepid versatility, and if you're not an alchemist, the iced phial can definitely hurt you in some pretty bad situations. For your potion, just use the fleeting elemental potion of ultimate power. For food, you can really pick whatever food you like. For this video, I've said sizzling seafood medley, which is a combination of haste and mastery. For your cloak and for your bracers, I would always do avoidance, so graceful avoidance for your cloak. For your bracer, devotion of avoidance. For your chest, either waking stats or accelerated agility. I personally like to run with Plains Runner's Breeze on my boots and accelerated agility, so I don't have to worry about the drawback from our main trinket, which is Neltharian's Call to Dominance. That's my personal choice, but waking stats is usually the go-to pick there. And then for your rings, just pick whatever stat is not going to hit diminished return. So either of the 4 will work just fine, either haste, crit, mastery, or versatility. For your legs, you want to pick up a fierce armor kit. For your gems, again, much like with rings, whatever is not going to hit you to diminished returns. I just happen to put Crafty Emerald and the Fierce Illimited Diamond there. And for your weapon, put your high intensity thermal scanner on that. And then for your weapon oil, for the 3rd tier in a row, I finally remembered to put the oil on there, and make sure you pick up a completely safe rockets. And then do keep in mind, for all of these, just make sure you're getting that tier 3 or the highest rank possible for all of your consumables to get the most out of your hunter. Now let's go ahead and check out the next section of my video. And this next section is going to be important gear to aim for. This is going to be if you're new to your Marksman Hunter and you didn't play much of Season 4, since Season 4 would have given you all of these items already. But you'll want to pick up your Season 4 tier set from Dragonflight. You can get that from any raid since they'll all be awakened, or you can get it from the Catalyst, and you should have plenty of charges. With your first bullion spenders, you want to make sure and pick up a Neltharax Enemy of the Sky. It goes up to a max 535 bow, and that dropped originally from Razageth. Then you have your first big trinket, which also goes up to 535, which is Neltharion's Call to Dominance. And this was the trinket that has a little bit of it's a 10% slow whenever you pop your true shot, and I don't have to worry about that thanks to the accelerated agility and the Plains Runner's boot enchant. And then this originally came from the Echo of Neltharion encounter. And then the next item is going to be a ring, which is a shielding ring, which is Seal of Filial Duty. You can get that also maxed out at 535. You're seeing a pattern here. And that dropped off of Diurna from the Vault of Incarnates. And then these last couple of items, most of these are going to be embellishments. So this is where we're going to be talking about those embellishments. If you are somebody who's going to be doing raiding, you want to pick up one adaptive Drakathis arm guard and then one item that's a crafted piece that's blue silk lining. My suggestion would be a belt, for example, or maybe a cloak if you don't pick up the Sarkareth cloak. If you are doing a Mythic Plus build, you want to run with 2 blue silk lining. So you'll put that on a belt and a wrist, for example, or put it on boots, or whatever is an empty spot that you can afford to have a 525 item level in there, because that's the max item level for crafted pieces of gear. And then finally, your last trinket. So prior to having Calling the Shots, I ran with Ashes of the Ember Soul. You can buy it with bullion, and it lined up perfectly with every single one of your true shots. Well, now that you have Calling the Shots, it will not. So Ashes does lose a little bit of value, and Iridius Fragment comes out of Halls of Infusion. It's already, technically speaking, the highest damage output trinket for both single target and AoE. I guess not unless you have a Grief Torch, which is getting insane value because people are dying in your group. But Iridius Fragment is a go-to trinket, and it's the one drawback is it's a 3-minute cooldown. Well, now that you're going to be getting so many more true shots out, it's not as big of a deal, and so Iridius Fragment will be much easier to run with. So this next section is going to go pretty quickly, which is just the macros that I use. I don't use too many of them, and most of them are honestly just stop casting macros for like Feign Death and that sort of thing. There is the Salvo Volley macro, which is nice, as well as the True Shot macro I use. That way I can use my unused trinkets and racials, that sort of thing. I will put them all in a text document, and they will be found over in my Discord. There is an invitation to the Discord down in the description. It should be near the timestamps, and then that way you can just download the text document there, and you can plug and chug whichever macros and WeakAuras for that matter that you see fit. And then this last section is going to be all about the WeakAuras, so let's go check those out. So now this last section is going to be all about the WeakAuras I use. So let me pull those up real quick. So I do get this question all the time. I do create my own WeakAuras, and everything you see on the screen, I've created WeakAura-wise. So my health bar and my focus bar, for example, they're always in the middle of my screen. Those are WeakAuras, as well as all of the buff trackers over on the left side. I've added and taken away quite a few over the years, but they track very important buffs. For example, like how long you have left on your turtle before you need to be worrying about feigning death or running the heck away. Your true shot, how many stacks you have, and then how many seconds left before you lose your true shot. How long you have trick shots up for. If you have steady focus, it'd be a good way to track that. There's just a ton of different things that you can track, and I will continue to update those because they're actually over on my Discord. I encourage you guys to come and hang out. It's a really family-friendly, a really positive environment over on my Discord. There should be an invitation down near the top of the description box. And then you can download that document. It should be over on the left side of the screen there. It'll say like add-ons and WeakAuras, and it should be pinned near the top of that section. All of my macros and all of my WeakAuras will be on one text document that you can freely download, and I will keep updating because inevitably there will be a tier set bonus that we'll need to track. So I will do that. I did that all of Dragonflight, and it went really, really well. And thank you guys for all the feedback. And I just wanted to find a way to share them with you because the strings are far too long to share in a comment on YouTube. But I think that's it. So let's go ahead and finish off another guide. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for another expansion. Dragonflight was very, very kind to me, and honestly, BFA and Shadowlands was before that. But if those expansions are any indicators of how things are going to go in the future, I am so excited for the War Within. Whether Marksman is top tier or the very bottom of the barrel, you better believe I'm going to be getting the most out of mine, and will continue to have playthroughs of various content throughout the expansion. I hope you guys will come and hang out for my journey. I will continue making my update videos each and every week on my Marksman Hunter journey once War Within does officially go live. I've put those on hiatus since there's not really a lot going on right now. But I'll have more content, which will include PvP, PvE. I'll have some non-World of Warcraft content, including Spyro the Dragon, Super Mario 64, and so much more. Believe it or not, I make more content other than just World of Warcraft. That's just usually why you're here. But again, thank you guys so much for supporting me for another expansion, and consider subscribing to me if you haven't already and you got this far in my video here on YouTube. And then be sure and follow me over at Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Eggplant. Leave me your feedback down below. Let me know what you guys thought of this guide and what you would maybe see me change in the future, because I'm always willing to make my content a little bit different based on what you guys need as the viewer. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.